When I was a kid, it was different. I have a, soft spot for journalists, and especially for people who are trying to deal with the modern world and journalism. This is a tough time. It is. And I didn't know anything about the ONA. Now I see what a big organization it is and what a big deal this is, and now I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be 5 people in a little room, with chairs. You never know when you accept a speaking engagement. You never know. I accepted a speaking engagement in Toronto. I thought it was a university, and it turned out it was a seminary, and there were I was in a chapel, and there were 2 people. But, I don't care. Journalism is kind of a solitary profession, and like a lot of professions that I deal with, when they get together, whether it's journalists or photographers or geeks, man, they just want to talk. It's like, wow, what's going on for you? And so these meetings are really important as a chance to kind of compare notes, find out what's going on, and especially in a field that's changing so rapidly. You need to do stuff like this, I think. That's a good question. I asked David Pogue that. He writes for the New York Times. In my mind, like he's one of the top journalists in the country. He said, no, I'm not a journalist. Nobody nowadays wants to be a journalist, right? So I'm a pundit. So yes, I consider myself a journalist in really the truest sense of the word, a person who writes about, or in some way, in my case talks, because I hate writing, about the events of the day and what it means. And I'm a very much opinion person. What I'm not is a reporter. I'm really bad at laying out the facts without any opinion. Yes, I would say I'm a journalist in the old sense of the word. We're kind of an interim strategy. In fact, a lot of the ads that I do on Twitter really like Arthur Godfrey. They're like old school, the host talking about a product, and it works very well. We get a premium price for our advertising because there's engagement in our audience. Our community is so strongly, invested in us that it's almost like a friend telling you this is a good product. And we're very careful. We only advertise products we use and believe in. So it is a good product. But ultimately, I think advertisers have kind of tasted the crack of Google and Facebook, and they're no longer going to be satisfied by the shake weed of kind of undifferentiated advertising, the kind of stuff that newspapers and television have been giving them for years. We don't know who you're talking to, but we know there's lots of them. It's got to be now very specific. In fact, when you advertise on Facebook or Google, you're not just advertising to a specific type of person. You're advertising to somebody who has already evinced an interest in what you're selling. That's incredibly valuable. So we're kind of in between. We use an old style form of interstitial advertising. We charge a premium amount because our audience is much more engaged than the old audiences of TV and newspapers who are kind of very loosely engaged with the content. And yet, we don't know that much about our audience. What we offer them is a very niche audience, so they know enough to know, well, this is the kind of people that are buy our product. But ultimately, I think in the long run, to succeed, you're going to have to be in an environment where you know a lot more about your audience, and the advertiser can target it much more specifically. Now, I don't know what that's going to mean for us as a broadcast medium, but broadcasting is kind of old school, isn't it? So I think we're kind of in between the past and the future. I actually, believe it or not, have a huge regard for the news industry, and I think that we've gone down a bad road in some cases by chasing an audience and kind of panicking and saying, oh, we've got to do more opinion, we've got to choose sides, we've got to stir the pot and sensationalize. Those things are the kinds of things panicky people do when they feel their market slipping out from under them. But I think that people who really care about journalism and really care about reporting are still out there and care deeply, passionately. And those people I don't want to change. I think that I wouldn't snap my fingers and say, I guess I'd say get rid of the sensationalism, get rid of this panic, start to have a faith in the importance of what we do as journalists. It really is one of the most important pursuits, a career a person can choose. It's like being a teacher. It's very valuable to society. Start believing in that and acting that way and not worrying so much about chasing the dollar and chasing the audience. If you create a product that gives value, the audience will buy it. They'll believe in it, and you will be able to make a living doing it. I firmly believe that. So I guess it's not a snap the finger answer, but if I were going to say snap the finger, stop worrying, start doing what you believe. We need you. Get to work and have in your heart the spirits that underlie the foundations of ONA, which is integrity, authenticity, honesty and ethics. Bring the world the facts that they need to know, and don't be fearless. Don't hesitate. For the older generation, my generation, the answer is calm down. It's going to be all right. We're going to get there. The world is not turning its back on journalism. The world needs journalism more than ever. We need the facts, and we need the story, and we need the analysis and the understanding. And that's what we're so good at, especially us old folks have been doing it for a long, long time. Those skills are needed. We need to help the younger generation. We need to teach them. We need to bring them on, and we need to preserve this most important profession. So I would say, let's just keep up the good work.